Ladies, let me tell you something, and I need you to sit down for this one. Put the phone down, turn the TV off, because what I'm about to say to you might sting a little at first, but by the time we finish this conversation, you're going to walk different, you're going to talk different, and you're going to see that man in your life through brand new eyes. If a man sees you as his future, baby, he does not have to announce it with a megaphone. He does not have to write it in the sky. He does not have to make you a promise every 3 days just to keep you hanging on. A man who sees you as his future shows you in 4 specific ways. 4, not 50, not 100. 4 clear, undeniable, can't miss it ways. And if the man you're dealing with right now is not doing these 4 things, then sister, I need you to hear me clearly. He is not confused. He is not scared. He is not scared. He is not working on himself. He has simply not decided that you are the one. And today we are going to fix your eyes so you never confuse potential for reality again. You've been told it's about chemistry. You've been told it's about how much he texts. You've been told if he's jealous, that means he loves you. You've been told if he can't keep his hands off you, that means he sees forever. Baby, none of that gets you a ring. None of that gets you a home. None of that gets you a home. None of that gets you the peace you deserve at 43, at 53, at 63. So sit back, pour yourself something warm, and let your brother Steve break this down for you the way I would break it down for my own daughter across my kitchen table. See, here's what men are wired to do. A man, from the day he starts noticing women, is running a very simple internal calculation. He's asking himself 2 questions about every woman he encounters. Question 1, do I want her right now? Question 2, do I want her forever? And ladies, I need you to hear me on this because it will save you 10 years of tears. Those 2 questions have almost nothing to do with each other. A man can want you right now with everything in his body and still not want you forever. He can kiss you like he's on fire. He can call you his queen at 2 in the morning. He can tell his boys you are the finest woman he's ever laid eyes on, and still never see you as his future. Because right now is a feeling. Forever is a decision. And a decision, sister, looks like something. It behaves like something. It moves like something. And that something is what we're going to unpack together today. Now, before I give you the 4 signs, I need to clear something out of your spirit. Because if you've been dealing with a man who has kept you spinning, kept you guessing, kept you writing paragraphs at midnight only to get a thumbs up emoji back the next afternoon, there is a voice in your head right now that is telling you it is your fault. That voice is lying. That voice is a liar. You are not too much. You have never been too much. You will never be too much. What you have been, baby, is misplaced. You have been a diamond handed to a man who was shopping for costume jewelry. And that is not a reflection of your worth. That is a reflection of his readiness. Say that with me one time. His readiness, not your worthiness. His readiness. Okay, now that we got that settled, let me tell you the first thing a man only does when he sees you as his future. The first thing he does, ladies, is he builds his life around your presence, not around your absence. Let me say that again because I want it to land. He builds his life around your presence, not around your absence. What does that mean practically? It means when he makes plans, real plans, the kind that involve time, money, and other people, you are already inside those plans before he even calls you. He does not call you on Thursday night at 9:47 p.m. to see if you're free on Saturday. He calls you 2 weeks ago and says, baby, my cousin's getting married in October. Book that weekend off. I want you next to me. You hear the difference? One man is checking if there's a slot for you. The other man has already carved out the slot with your name on it. A man who sees a future with you does not treat you like a guest star in his life. He treats you like a co-writer. His calendar starts to look like your calendar. His weekends start to look like your weekends. His holidays, Thanksgiving, Christmas, New Year's, his mama's birthday, his best friend's 40th, start to have your face inside of them. And it happens naturally without you begging, without you dropping hints, without you posting cryptic quotes on your Instagram story about knowing your worth. He just does it. Because when a man decides you are his future, integrating you into his life is not a chore. It is a joy. It is a promotion. It is a badge he wants to wear in public. Now, here's where most women get tricked. Most women confuse frequency with intention. He texts you all day, so you assume he's building a life with you. He FaceTimes you every night, so you assume you're inside his future. Baby, texting is not building. FaceTiming is not planning. A man can text you good morning for 4 years straight and still never invite you to a single family event. And I've seen it happen. I've seen it with my own eyes. I knew a woman, let's call her Maya. Beautiful woman, sharp mind, PhD, the whole package. Maya dated a man for 3.5 years. 3.5. He texted her every morning. He called her every night. He told her she was the love of his life. And in 3.5 years, sister, she never met his mother, never met his sister, never went to a single Thanksgiving, not one. He always had a reason. His mama was sick. His family was going through it. It wasn't the right time. And Maya, being the loving, patient woman she was, kept accepting the reasons. You know what finally woke her up? She ran into his cousin at a barbershop of all places, just happened to overhear the man's name. And the cousin looked confused, said, I didn't even know he was seeing anybody. 3.5 years. Nobody in his family knew her name, because he had never once in all that time spoken it out loud in a room where it mattered. Ladies, if you are somewhere in a man's phone but nowhere in a man's life, you are not his future. You are his secret. And a secret is not a status. A secret is a storage unit. He is storing you until he decides what to do with you. And I need you to understand something. A man does not store what he treasures. He displays what he treasures. He tells the world what he treasures. He introduces what he treasures. If you have been in his life for more than 6 months and his people do not know your face, do not know your voice, do not know your laugh, then baby, you are not being cherished. You are being warehoused. And you deserve to be walked into rooms, not tucked into corners. So the first sign is this. He builds his life around your presence. He plans in advance. He puts you on his calendar. He introduces you to the people who matter. He does not have to be pushed. He does not have to be reminded. He does it because a man who sees his future in you cannot help but stitch you into the fabric of his everyday life. Now hear me on this. I am not saying he has to introduce you to his mother in the first month. That is not what I said. I said in a reasonable, healthy timeline. 6 months, 9 months, a year at the outside. You should be in the room. You should have a seat at the table. Your name should have been said out loud in the places that shape his life. If it hasn't been, that's not shyness. That's not privacy. That's a decision he has already made and just hasn't told you about. Let me tell you something else about this first sign, because I don't want you to miss the subtle version. Sometimes a man will introduce you to his people, yes, but he will introduce you like an accessory. Oh, this is Tasha. We hang out sometimes. That is not integration. That is exhibition. There's a difference between showing you off and folding you in. A man who sees you as his future folds you in. He remembers that you don't eat pork, so he tells his mama in advance. He remembers that your mother has been sick, so he asks his aunt to pray for her by name. He remembers that you were nervous about meeting his boys, so he pulls one of them aside beforehand and says, "Hey man, be cool. This one's special." The folding in is where the future lives. The exhibition is just theater. Sister, Are you being folded in or are you being displayed? Are you in the fabric or are you a decoration? Ask yourself that tonight. And if the honest answer is decoration, don't panic, don't cry, don't call him. Just get quiet and keep listening. Because we've got 3 more signs to go, and by the end of this, you're going to know exactly where you stand. Which brings me to the second thing a man only does when he sees you as his future. Ladies, this one is the one nobody talks about, and it is the one that separates the men who mean it from the men who are just passing time. Ready? Here it is. A man who sees you as his future protects your name when you are not in the room. He protects your name when you are not in the room. Now, what do I mean by that? I mean, when his boys are talking sideways about women, he doesn't laugh along. When his mama says something a little slick about that girl you've been seeing, he corrects her gently but firmly. When his ex slides into his DMs trying to stir up mess, he doesn't entertain it. He doesn't screenshot it to show you like a trophy. He just shuts it down. And half the time you don't even find out until months later, and even then you find out from somebody else. Because a man who is building a future with you understands that his job, his primary job as your man, is to be a shield, not a spotlight, a shield. Baby, let me tell you something about men. And I say this as a man who has been one for longer than most of you have been alive. Men talk. Men talk about their women. In barbershops, in locker rooms, in group chats, at basketball games, over cigars. And how a man talks about you when you are not there tells you everything about how he sees you. Because you can perform love in front of the woman. You can bring flowers, you can post pictures, you can say all the right things when she's staring you in the face. But how you speak her name to the world when she can't hear you, that is the truth. That is the receipt. That is the real relationship. A man who sees you as his future speaks your name with weight. He says, my woman, and it sounds like a promise. He says, her. And his boys know not to play with that name. He says we, and it doesn't sound rehearsed. And if somebody comes at your character sideways even a little, even in a joke, he doesn't laugh. He doesn't chuckle nervously. He shuts it down because he knows something most men never learn, and it is this. A man is only as respected as his willingness to defend what he loves. A man who lets people talk crazy about his woman does not love her. He is comfortable with her. He is entertained by her. He may even be attracted to her, but he does not love her. Because love, real love, gets protective. Real love gets stern. Real love gets stirred. Real love says, that's my woman. Watch your mouth. Now listen to me carefully, because I don't want you to weaponize this. This is not about a man having to fight the whole world for you. This is not about picking street fights to prove his love. This is about the quiet, consistent, day in, day out honoring of your name in rooms you will never sit in. It's about you finding out 6 months later from a mutual friend that when so-and-so tried to gossip about you at a cookout, your man said, nah, we're not doing that. Not about her. And you didn't even ask him to. He just did it because it was reflex. Because your name lives in his mouth like a prayer, and he doesn't let anybody handle it roughly. I want to tell you about another woman I knew. Let's call her Rachel. Rachel was dating a fellow who on the surface seemed like a good man, employed, charming, well-dressed, said the right things. But Rachel had this feeling. You know the feeling I'm talking about, sister, that little whisper in your gut you keep trying to talk yourself out of. She had this feeling that when she wasn't around, something was off. She couldn't put her finger on it. And then one night at a party, she went to the bathroom, and on her way back, she overheard him with his friends. And they were joking about her, making little comments, calling her uptight, calling her the project, saying she was a lot, but the you-know-what is worth it. And he, This man who told her he loved her every single night. He was laughing, sister, not shutting it down, not defending her, laughing. Rachel didn't confront him that night. She didn't cause a scene. She just went home, and something inside her shifted, because in that one moment she saw the truth. He didn't respect her. He didn't respect her. He desired her, but he didn't respect her. And baby, desire without respect is a slow poison. It'll keep you fed, but it'll starve your soul. Rachel ended it 2 weeks later, cleanly, quietly. And you know what she told me? She said, "Steve, I finally understood. If he can laugh at me in a room I'm not in, he does not love me. He just likes what I do for him." And she was right. She was exactly right. Ladies, if you want to know how a man sees you, don't listen to what he says to your face. Listen to what he says in the rooms he thinks you'll never enter. Because a man who sees you as his future carries your name like a jewel. He doesn't let it get dropped. He doesn't let it get handled. He doesn't let it get joked about. He carries it like it is precious, because to him it is. And if the man in your life is not doing that, if you have caught him laughing at you, dismissing you, minimizing you, or letting others speak on you without a word from him, then baby, that is not your husband. That is your visitor. And visitors don't get to live in your house forever. Now let me give you the third sign, because this one is where a lot of women get emotional, and I understand why. But hear me out, because this is the one that changes everything. The third thing a man only does when he sees you as his future is that he invests in you in ways that cost him something. Now, when I say invests, I don't just mean money. I do mean money. We'll get there. But I mean much more than that. Investment, sister, is anything a man gives you that he cannot get back. Time is investment. Energy is investment. Vulnerability is investment. Attention is investment. Peace is investment. And yes, money is investment. Because at the end of the day, a man's calendar and a man's wallet don't lie. Show me where he spends his hours and where he spends his dollars, and I will show you what he values. See, here's what men are wired to do. From the time we are boys, we are taught that our resources are the truest measure of our commitment, not our words, not our feelings, our resources. That's why in the old days, if a man wanted to marry a woman, he had to go to her father and prove he had land, prove he had a trade, prove he could provide. That wasn't about materialism, baby. That was about intention. Because a man who is only playing does not spend. A man who is only playing does not invest. A man who is only playing gives you the leftover time, the leftover money, the leftover energy, whatever is left after his real life is done. But a man who sees you as his future puts you at the front of the line. You are not the leftover. You are the main course. Now, I know some of you are hearing me say money, and you're getting nervous. You've been told, don't be a gold digger. Don't focus on his wallet. Love him for who he is. And I hear that. And there's a piece of truth in it. But there's also a lie hiding inside that saying. And the lie is this, that if you notice how a man spends, you are somehow shallow. Baby, that is not shallow. That is smart. Because a man will always, always, always spend on what he values. Always. If he can find money for concert tickets with his boys, but never money for a real date with you, that tells you something. If he can find money for the newest sneakers, but never money to help you when your car breaks down, that tells you something. If he can find money to fly out to Miami with his crew, but never money to fly you to see him, that tells you something. Not everything, but something. Now hear me. I am not saying a man has to be rich. I'm not saying he has to break his pockets to prove himself. I am saying that whatever he has, however little or however much, a portion of it will find its way to you if you are his future. If he has $10, 3 of them will end up in your hands or on your table. If he has $100, 30 will. If he has $1 million, 300,000 will. Because the percentage doesn't change. The commitment changes. A man who is building a future with you thinks of your comfort before his own luxury. He thinks about your safety before his own convenience. He thinks about your dreams before his own hobbies. And that's not weakness. That's manhood. Real manhood. The kind our grandfathers used to model before the world got noisy and confused. And it's not just money, sister. It's time. Time is the currency a man cannot lie about. A man will tell you he loves you, but if he cannot find 2 hours in a week to sit in your presence with no phone, no TV, no distractions, just you, then his mouth is saying one thing and his life is saying another. And when a man's mouth and a man's life don't match, baby, always, always, always believe the life. The mouth can lie. The life cannot. A man who sees you as his future protects his time with you. He guards it. He says no to his boys sometimes, so he can say yes to you. He puts the phone down when you walk in the room. He doesn't scroll while you're pouring your heart out. He looks at you when you speak. Because in his mind, you are not competing with his life. You are becoming his life. And a man who is becoming a life with you does not treat you like a hobby he squeezes in on Sundays. Let me tell you about Denise. Denise was 38, divorced, once one kid, gorgeous inside and out. Denise started dating a man who was, on paper, everything. Good job, more kids of his own, nice apartment, no baby mama drama, church going, the whole nine. But something was off. And Denise couldn't figure it out for the longest time. He said he loved her. He told her he saw a future. He even hinted about marriage, but he never, and I mean never, planned a real trip with her. Never took a real weekend off just for her. Never made her a priority when his schedule got tight. His work always came first. His mama always came first. His fantasy football league always came first. Denise always came fourth. Denise always came fourth, sometimes sixth. And she rationalized it, ladies, the way we all rationalize when we love somebody. She said, he's ambitious, he's a family man, he's busy building. But one day her best friend sat her down and said something Denise never forgot. She said, Denise, a man who is building for you includes you in the building. A man who is building without you is not building for you. He is building for somebody who isn't here yet. And that hit Denise like a truck, because she realized this man was constructing a beautiful life, brick by brick, and she was standing outside the fence, watching. She was not in the blueprint. She was in the audience. Ladies, are you in the blueprint or are you in the audience? Ask yourself. Because a man who sees you as his future is not just spending on you. He is spending with you. He is building with you. He is planning with you. His 5-year plan has your face in it. His retirement plan has your name in it. His savings account is starting to have your goals inside it. That is investment. That is future. That is a man who has decided. And here's the spicy truth nobody wants to tell you, sister. Men know within the first 90 days whether you are the one. 90 days. That's it. He doesn't need 5 years. He doesn't need 3 years. He doesn't need 18 months to figure it out. A man knows. He knows in his gut, in his bones, in that quiet place inside him where the truth lives. And once he knows, he starts investing. He can't help it. It's involuntary. It's like a reflex. If he has not started investing in you in a meaningful way, with his time, with his resources, with his energy, by the 6-month mark, sister, he has already decided. He has just not had the courage to tell you. And the reason he hasn't told you is because he is enjoying the benefits of a woman he does not intend to marry. That is the truth. That is the brutal, sobering, wake up and smell the coffee truth. And I'm not saying that to shame you. I'm saying that to wake you up. Because you have too much life ahead of you to spend another year, another 2 years, another 5 years waiting for a man to invest in what he has already silently decided he will not invest in. You are not a savings account he can leave dormant. You are not a stock he can watch for another quarter. You are a woman, a whole woman with a whole life, with the whole future, and your time is not free. Your time is the most expensive thing you own. Stop giving it away for free. Now the fourth sign. This one, ladies, is the deepest one. And I saved it for last because it is the one that ties all the others together. The fourth thing a man only does when he sees you as his future is that he lets you see him. He lets you see him. What do I mean by that? I mean, he lowers the mask. He shows you the parts of himself he does not show the world. He tells you about his father who wasn't there. He tells you about the time he cried in the parking lot of a hospital when his grandmother passed. He tells you about the promotion he wanted and didn't get and how it made him feel like a boy again. He tells you about his fears, his shame, his regrets, his dreams that he's too scared to say out loud in front of anybody else. He shows you the soft underbelly. He shows you the boy inside the man. Because a man who sees you as his future understands that partnership is not built on performance. It is built on transparency. And you cannot be transparent with someone you don't trust with your future. Sister, listen to me carefully. Any man can show you his highlight reel. Any man can put on a suit, take you to dinner, tell you jokes, make you laugh, sweep you off your feet. That is the easy part. That is what men do in the audition phase. But the moment you see him tired, the moment you see him scared, the moment you see him unsure of himself, that is when you know whether he is auditioning or whether he is auditioning or whether he is arriving, because the audition ends. But the arriving is where the marriage lives. A man who sees you as his future stops performing eventually. And a lot of women misread this. A lot of women see him get quieter, more still, more himself, and they panic. They think, oh no, he's losing interest. He used to be so romantic, so charming, so alive around me. Baby, listen. Sometimes when a man gets quiet around you, it's not that he's losing interest. It's that he's laying down the mask. He's letting you into the room where he actually lives. And that room is not always dressed up. That room has laundry on the floor. That room has bills on the table. That room has doubts on the walls. And he is showing you that room because he trusts you to see it and stay. That is the deepest form of I choose you a man can offer. Not the flowers, not the trips, not the fancy dates, the mask coming off. That is the vow before the vow. Now, this is critical, ladies, so hear me. The mask coming off does not mean he gets to be rude. It does not mean he gets to be lazy. It does not mean he gets to treat you like his mama or his therapist or his doormat. Do not confuse a man laying down his mask with a man laying down his manhood. Those are two different things. A grown man can be vulnerable and still open your car door. A grown man can cry in your arms and still fix the broken faucet. A grown man can tell you his fears and still lead the household. Vulnerability and leadership are not opposites. They are partners. And a man who sees you as his future learns how to hold both at the same time. He gets softer with you without getting smaller with you. He gets more transparent without getting less strong. That is the man. That is the whole man. That is the man you have been waiting for. But here's where women mess up. And I've got to warn you, sister, because I've seen too many good women get this part wrong. When a man finally shows you his vulnerable side, do not, And I repeat, do not use it against him later. Do not throw his fears back in his face during an argument. Do not tell your girlfriends the private things he cried about. Do not weaponize his openness. Because if you do, you will teach him, and he will remember for the rest of his life that his softness is not safe with you. And once a man learns his softness is not safe with you, he will put that mask back on, and you will spend the rest of the relationship wondering why he feels 1,000 miles away, even when he's sitting right next to you. You want a man who lets you see him? Then be a woman who can be trusted with what she sees. Handle his heart the way you want yours handled. Speak of him to the world the way you want him speaking of you. Guard his name the way you want your name guarded. Because marriage, real marriage, the kind that survives 20, 30, 40 years, is built on two people who trust each other with the truth, not with the performance, the truth. So those are your 4 signs. He builds his life around your presence. He protects your name when you are not in the room. He invests in you in ways that cost him something. And he lets you see him, the real him, the one behind the mask. 4 signs. That is your test. That is your measuring stick. That is your compass from now on. Now let me ask you something, and I want you to be honest with yourself, because this next part is where a lot of us slip. Sit in this question for a minute. Is the man in your life doing these 4 things? Not one of them. Not 2 of them. All 4. Because a man who sees you as his future does not do this stuff sometimes. He does not do it when he feels like it. He does not do it when the mood strikes. He does it consistently. Consistency, sister, is the language of commitment. Anybody can be spectacular for a weekend. Only a committed man is consistent for a lifetime. And I already know some of you are sitting there right now and your stomach is dropping because you are doing the math in your head. And the math is not mathing. You are realizing that the man you have been holding on to, the man you have been defending to your mama and your girlfriends, the man you have been giving your best years to, is not doing these 4 things. Maybe he's doing 1. Maybe he's doing 2. But he is not doing all 4. And you are trying to figure out what to do with that information. Baby, breathe. Just breathe. I am not here to tell you to run out the door tonight and throw his stuff on the lawn. That is not what I said. What I am saying is that you now have clarity. And clarity, sister, is the first gift you have to give yourself before you can decide anything else. Because women don't leave situations. Women leave illusions. And once the illusion breaks, the decision becomes very simple. Not easy, but simple. Here's the power move that changes everything, and I want you to write this one down somewhere. Ready? Stop auditioning for a man who has not chosen you. Stop auditioning for a man who has not chosen you. If he has not built his life around you, stop rearranging your life around him. If he does not protect your name, stop protecting his reputation. If he does not invest in you, stop pouring your resources, your time, your energy, your money, your youth into him. If he does not let you see him, stop performing your soul for a man who won't even show his face. And I know what some of you are thinking. Steve, but I love him. Steve, but he has potential. Steve, but he's had a hard life. Steve, but nobody's perfect. Baby, listen to me. I am not asking you to leave. I am asking you to stop chasing. There is a difference. You can stay in a relationship, sister, and still stop chasing. You can love a man and still stop begging him to love you back the right way. You can honor your history with him and still refuse to sacrifice your future for it. Stopping the chase is not the end of the relationship. It is the beginning of your dignity. And sometimes, when a woman stops chasing, a man wakes up. He feels her weight lift. He feels her energy pull back. He feels the temperature in the room change. And something inside him that was asleep starts to stir. He starts to realize, oh, Oh no, I have been coasting. I have been comfortable. I have been taking her presence for granted. And some men, sister, not all, but some, will step up. They will start showing you the four signs. They will start doing the work. And if they do, wonderful. Receive it, test it, watch it, give it time. Because a real change is not a weekend of good behavior. A real change is a season of consistent action. But some men will not step up. Some men, when you stop chasing, will simply drift away. And baby, I need you to understand something. If he drifts when you stop chasing, he was never yours. He was just holding a spot until he decided. Your stopping the chase did not end the relationship. Your stopping the chase revealed what the relationship actually was. And that revelation, painful as it is a mercy. It is a mercy. Because now you know. Now you can grieve. Now you can heal. Now you can build a life that has room in it for a man who actually wants to be inside of it. Now let me talk to those of you who are single. Because I know some of you listening to this are not in a relationship right now. And you might be thinking, Steve, this doesn't apply to me. I don't have a man to evaluate. Oh, baby, yes, it does. Because the woman you become before he shows up is the woman he will meet. You do not attract what you want. You attract what you are. And if you spend your single season watching Netflix, scrolling Instagram, and comparing yourself to women who look like they have it all together, you will show up to the next relationship the same woman you were in the last one. Same fears, same patterns, same tolerances for less. But if you spend your single season becoming clearer, becoming stronger, becoming softer, becoming more of who God made you to be, then when a man does show up, he will meet a woman who does not have to teach him how to love her. He will meet a woman who already knows her value, and therefore he will have to rise to meet it. He will meet a woman who already knows the four signs, and therefore he cannot hide behind confusion. He will meet a woman who has already decided that she will not waste another year on somebody who is not building with her. And baby, that kind of woman does not chase. That kind of woman is chased. That kind of woman is pursued. That kind of woman is proposed to. So use this season. Don't waste it. Don't rush past it. Do the work in the quiet, because the woman who does the work in the quiet becomes the woman who cannot be shaken in the noise. Now let me warn you about something else, because I don't want you to walk out of this conversation and immediately make the second most common mistake I see women make. Here it is. After a woman gets clarity, after she sees that the man in her life is not doing the four things, she often swings the other way. She becomes hard. She becomes cold. She becomes cynical. She starts putting up walls that are so thick no good man could ever climb over them. And she calls that protecting her peace. Baby, that is not protecting your peace. That is protecting your peen. There is a difference. Protection of peace looks like healthy boundaries. It looks like clear standards. It looks like the ability to say no without a paragraph of explanation. Protection of pain looks like emotional armor. It looks like assuming every man is trash before he opens his mouth. It looks like sabotaging good men because you're expecting bad behavior. Do not let the men who hurt you turn you into a woman who cannot receive love.